Let's go to ancient modern time. Another day, another story. World War I was a major conflict fought in Europe and around the world between July 28, 1914 and November 11, 1918. Nations from across all over non-polar continents were involved, although Russia, Britain, France, Germany and Austria-Hungary dominated. Much of the war was characterized by stagnant French warfare and massive loss of life in failed attacks. Over 8 million people were killed in battle. The United Nations were ready to engage in war in all conditions. The war was fought by two main power blocks, the entente powers or allies, comprised of Russia, France, Britain and later the US, and their allies on one side and the central power of Germany, Austria-Hungary, Turkey and other allies on the other. Italy later joined the entente. Many other countries played smaller parts on both sides like Canada, India, Serbia, Belgium and Bulgaria. Now let's go to origin of World War I. To understand the origins of World War I, it is important to understand how politics at that time was. European politics in the early 20th century were a infamy. Many politicians, though war we had been banished by progress, while others, influenced partially by a fierce armed race, felt war was inevitable. In Germany, this belief went further. The war should happen sooner rather than later, while they still, as they believed, had an advantage over their perceived major enemy, Russia. As Russia and France were allied, Germany feared an attack from both sides. To mitigate this threat, the Germans developed the three-phase plan, a swift-looking attack on France, designed to knock it out early, allowing for concentration on Russia. Rising tensions culminated on June 28, 1914 with the assassination of Austrian-Hungarian Archduke Franz Ferdinand by a Serbian activist and ally of Russia. Austria-Hungary asked for German support and was promised a blank check. They declared war on Serbia on July 28. What follows was a sort of domino effect as more and more nations joined the fight. Russia mobilized to support Serbia, so Germany declared war on Russia. France then declared war on Germany. As German troops swung through Belgium into France, days later Britain declared war on Germany too. Declarations continued until much of Europe was at war with each other. There was a widespread public support. World War I first on land. After the swift German invasion of France was stopped at the Marne, the race to sea followed as each side tried to outflank each other ever closer to the English Channel. This left the entire Western Front divided by over 400 miles of trenches around which the war was stagnated. Despite massive battles like Ypres, little progress was made and a battle of attrition emerged, caused partially by German intentions to beat the French dry at Verdun and Britain's attempts to Somme. There was more movement on the Eastern Front with the same major took place, but there was nothing decisive and the war carried on with high casualties. Attempts to find another route into their army's territory led to the failed Allied invasions of Gallipoli, where Allied forces held to beachhead but were halted by fierce Turkish resistance. There was conflict on the Italian front, the Balkans, the Middle East, and the smaller struggles in communal holding where the warring powers bordered each other. World War I at sea. Although the build-up to war had included naval arms race between Britain and Germany, the only large naval engagement of the conflict was the Battle of Jutland, where both sides claimed victory. Instead, the defining struggle involved submarines and the German decision to pursue unrestricted submarine warfare (USW). This policy allowed submarines to attack any target they found, including those belonging to the neutral United States, which caused the latter to enter the war in 1917 on behalf of the Allies, supplying much needed manpower. The test shadowed victory. Despite Austria-Hungary becoming little more than a German satellite, the Eastern Front was first to resolve the war, causing massive political and military instability in Russia, leading to the revolutions of 1917, the emergence of socialist government and surrender on December 15. Efforts by the Germans to redirect manpower and take the offensive in the West Field on November 11, 1918 at 11 am. Faced with Allied successes, massive destruction at home and impending arrival of vast US manpower, Germany signed an armistice, the last Central Power to do so. War happened aftermath. Each of the defeated nations signed a treaty with Allies, most significantly the Treaty of Versailles, which was signed with Germany and which had been blamed for causing further destruction ever since. The horrifying data of World War I is that there was devastation across Europe. 59 million troops had been mobilized, over 8 million died and over 29 million were injured. Huge quantities of capital had been passed to emergent United States, and the culture of every European nation was deeply affected, and the struggle became known as the Great War or the War to End All Wars. Technical innovations of World War I which brought many new technologies. World War I was the first to make major use of machine guns which showed their defensive qualities. It was also the first to see poison gas used on the battlefield, a weapon which both sides made use of, and the first to see tanks which were initially developed by Allies and later used to great success. The use of aircraft evolved from simply reconnaissance to a whole new form of aerial warfare. The modern use of World War I. Thanks partly to a generation of war poets who recorded the horrors of the war and generation of historians who castigated the Allied High Command for their decisions and waste of life, Allied soldiers being the lions led by donkeys. The war was generally viewed as a pointless strategy. However, later generations of historians have found mileage in revising this view. While the donkeys have always been right for recalibration, and carriers built on provocations have always found material such as Niall Ferguson's The Pity of War. The centenary commemorations found historiography spilled between the flanks, wishing to create a new martial pride and sideline the worst of the war to create an image of the conflict where we were fighting and then were truly won by Allies, and those who wished to stress the alarming and pointless imperial game millions of people died for. The war remains controversial as subject to attack and defense as the newspaper of the day. Thanks for watching this video. Please do like, share, subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon.